Girlfriend gave ultimatum on us getting married, but I don't think I want to. What do I do?
Don't get married. You got to be honest with her. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just say, you're great. I think you're amazing, but I'm just not in the same place. And I'll understand if that doesn't work for you. You got to be who you are. I mean, the worst thing you can do is go along with it because I did that when I was younger. And let me tell you, getting a divorce when it was totally avoidable and not trusting your heart and your intuition, it's a bad way to go. And it's very expensive. So you don't want to be committing to marriage or relationships or jobs or business deals when it doesn't feel right and you're not in the same place. It's better to just be honest, but you got to understand the downside risks, especially with women because they got a biological clock and their time frame is always narrowing as they get older. Us guys tend to peak later in life, and so therefore you can take your time, but don't waste a girl's time and give her false hopes or false promises that you're going to marry her and have kids when you're just not in the same place. But when you're honest like that, you also got to understand that there's a good chance she's going to dip on you. But there's also she may stay and stick around for a while. But just keep in mind if you know you're not going to stay with her and you're not going to marry, you got to tell her because it's not fair to her or you. Because if you wait and you stretch it out several years and she's hoping that you're going to change your mind, then I mean you're robbing her of those years where she could be dating and meeting somebody else who does want to be with her and does want to have kids and all those things.
I feel like depending on how long they've been dating and when she asked,
I feel like
maybe he's just not ready at the time. But if they've been dating for a while and she wants to get married and you've been dating for whatever 5 years or so, then and that's her dream to be married to you and you don't want to, then you need to let her go. Because that you should already have the talk too as well. If that you don't see it in your future, you either not need to be with her or you need to tell her that you're not the marrying kind. Yes, you love her. Yes, you're committed to her, but you just don't. You want to spend your life with her, but you don't want to be married. You don't want to be on papers.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of involving the government in the relationship at all. That was not, I was only married a year, and I'll tell you what, man, it took almost 3 years to completely get out and get divorced and dispose of that house that we had because we had a house that we bought in a new home community, and so you're competing against a builder that's basically selling the house, same house for the same price, and people can pick their cabinets, they can pick their colors, they can pick whether or not they want a pool or a jacuzzi or a pool heater and all those things, and people would choose to design their own house when they're buying something new. So it was, and plus the area I was living at, it was just people weren't interested because why would I want to buy your house? The carpet's a year old and it's worn, and when they could just pick everything and make it the way they want. And so we ended up having to sell the house with like a lease purchase, which was great. Sold it pretty quickly doing that, but took a couple years for the guy to rebuild his credit to the point where he could qualify for a loan and then get us out of the property. But when you look at what it takes to get into a marriage versus what it takes to get out of a marriage, it's a lot harder and a lot more expensive to get out of one than it is to get into one typically. And just because the government, especially if you're in a blue state, it's a nightmare. And so anything that you can do civilly and have a business agreement, maybe do some kind of civil marriage, anything that doesn't involve the government, I'm in favor of.